Hey, welcome back to Chaos Drive. Is this even a welcome back? Is that even fair? Because, like, this is kind of what the show is supposed to be. Is this fair to say welcome back? Anyways, I'm here with my two beautiful guests.
Is the one that we recorded going to be episode 1 or episode 0?
I feel like that can be a 0.
Alright. That works. This is where the show officially begins because we have our third co-host who will be a permanent co-host. Introduce yourself.
Hi.
I mean, he'll probably quit on us after episode 4.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's the limit.
I think those 3 words he just said are probably all we're gonna get out of him.
Oh!
What do I just say? Hi, I'm Stuart. Here are links to my channel.
You make videos too.
I make videos too.
The links are just viruses.
Oh, not really about Sonic specifically, but I mean, you're like Chris. You make videos on video games.
Yep. I also have
broadly.
an Instagram where I make art and an Etsy page where I also sell said art.
Stuart is the one. For anyone who has seen my channel, is the one who made the pixelated Spiny. That I'll occasionally show in a video.
You also depict me as my old like avatar, which is still the funniest thing ever.
Golden Tails XD.
Never forget my origins.
Well, Chris, what's on today's agenda?
Well, I was gonna let you start because because last time you had a getting to know you thing, and I think that it'd be really cool to have that again, but with Stuart and probably more consistent answers. So.
Yeah, I'll pull up the list. It's just 5 very basic questions I asked for me and Chris to answer in the first episode, kind of just to establish some opinions we have on the series.
Okay.
So we'll ask them to you too. First one, these are like really simple questions. Okay, 1, what's your favorite Sonic game, Stuart?
I gotta say Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Hey!
Oh yeah. The correct answer.
I really do just like how it feels with Sonic and Shadow. I know some people have like harks on the treasure hunting and shooting levels, but
And they're wrong.
after a while, I just get used to it. It's dumb fun. Like, I'm not really trying to take it too seriously. I also really do like the Chao Garden, just something like a bit of fresh air. And I've never actually 100%ed the game, but one of these days I want to, just so I could play Green Hill Zone.
Honestly, same. It's really hard because it's like, it's not just getting the emblems, it's like A rank in every single one of them. Like, not every level, every single individual challenge, too.
So, Can I make a confession?
And
Go on.
Okay. I have not myself done it. Me and a group of friends have done it, and that spent multiple sleepovers doing it. 100%ing it. It was something I could not do on my own.
we should do that, honestly. Like, next... that's the thing. I was gonna say, because, like, one of the times we got together, if we just spent time doing that, we could, like...
Yeah, I mean...
We could probably knock them out. The only thing is that would take up... I feel like that would take a long time, and the question is, do we really want to spend a whole trip doing that?
Yeah, why not? I mean, the thing is, it'd be different if, like, I lived farther, but I live close enough where it's not, like, an impossible trip. So...
Maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe we could do... Let's do a 24-hour live stream.
I will do it. No, I will
stopping.
fucking do it.
Stuart, your next question. What is the worst Sonic game, in your opinion?
The worst Sonic game? I'm still gonna put my foot down and say Sonic Forces.
Fair enough.
Not even... I agree. I could see that.
The time when you came over to my house, Michael, and we played it, just a lot of things really did not... Like, the game was fighting me, and I was just trying my absolute best to just get through the level and have fun. I understand some of the games require, like, replayability to get used to the levels, but there comes a point where if the game's fighting me that hard, I really don't want to replay those levels.
You know, I feel like that answer is the exact same. I could say the exact same thing about my choice, which I think... What was my choice? I wanted to say Chronicles is one of them. Is that still consistent?
Yeah, I mean Chronicles was mine too, but you did mention another one. I am trying to remember which one it is off the top of my head right now. Fuck, what was the other one?
I don't even remember. I think you said Chronicles.
Was it one of the Game Gear? No, you said Sonic 2 for Game Gear.
Yeah, Sonic 2 is like my choice, but like I have to say Chronicles because you are right about how dog shit it is. But Stuart is also right about Forces.
Yeah, Forces is like a very fair pick for worse because it's also like on top of it fighting against you. It's like I'll say this: it's not like the levels are difficult or anything, but they're just so uninteresting. Like I think visually some of them look nice, but it is like that's it. Like that's the only compliment I could offer any of the levels, and even then, that doesn't apply to every level of the game.
Yeah, I feel like the thing that's funny is Stuart like gave an actual Sonic answer where I had to jump to a spinoff.
I think the worst part is that I wish I had, the source for it, but when hearing about the development of Sonic Forces, it was made from, like, brand new developers, which I feel like is absolutely horrible to do for, like, your next mainline game. But at the same time, I'm not, like, surprised that Sega did this, because they recently did that with, the Atlas side of their company with Soul Hackers 2. They wanted that to be the third pillar of their Atlas series, but thanks to poor marketing and relying on new developers, it didn't sell that well.
They're always making confusing decisions over there at Sonic Team, though. Like, I remember, like, when Generations came out, they announced who the people, like, the people who were writing it were two people who I believe, like, never wrote for a Sonic game before, and they also did not they knew almost nothing about the series. And that's really weird for Generations specifically, because Generations is, like, this celebration game of the series history. Like, that one had Ian Flynn's name all over it. Like, Ian Flynn writing Frontier's story and dialogue, that sounded like the kind of story that should have been in Generations, honestly. Because there's so much reflecting on the past in it.
Yeah, I would have loved it in Generations if Tails asked if he's a burden.
And Sonic was like, Christ, yes! But yeah, it's like, I don't understand where they're coming from sometimes with very basic decisions that shouldn't be as complicated as they make it, but they're making better decisions now, I'll give them that.
Slow and steady.
Yeah. Next question, Stuart. These next two are actually very similar to one another. Favorite character?
Earlier I thought you were going to ask me this. And I'm right. I have to say, honestly, Tails, specifically Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, with that arc.
That's a good answer.
About him always in the past, like, relying on Sonic, but then as he, like, is separated from him, he reflects on his life and realizes that he needs to be more independent, because one day Sonic might not be there. And it did happen in Sonic Adventure 1 when Eggman was like, I'll take the city with me. And then, saves the city on his own. Especially that also goes into Sonic Adventure 2 when Eggman is actually Tails' rival in the game, which I find is very fitting.
Yeah. And I think that, like, the unfortunate thing that happened within, like, the next few games came out, and I feel like they maintained Tails being on his own pretty well. Like, he's kind of doing his own thing. In Heroes, he's part of a team, but all the characters are part of a team. He's, helping out in 06 and stuff like that. And then, just somewhere, like, I swear what everybody, like, attributes it to, and I agree, is, and it's not 100% this thing's fault, but it's where it started, is the fucking yellow tablet.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second they gave him that fucking thing. And it's like Frontiers, it was a step in the right direction, but the thing that sucks about it is it's like redoing what they did in Adventure 1 and 2. And I still appreciate it because it felt like, yeah, let's acknowledge this. He's kind of sucked for the last few games, for like the last decade.
He didn't have the yellow tablet in Frontiers, did he?
Mm-mm.
Alright, good. It's automatically a better
update.
Character.
I think
maybe in the update he did, I don't remember.
Then it's a terrible update.
I think the fun thing about this whole like franchise is that everybody can have a favorite character, right? Like, I don't think none of us have given the same answer. So,
yeah. The next question is because there's so many ways to like different directions to go in. Like, I mean, I've read people who say their favorite character is like Silver, and like. And not saying anything against that. It's just like, yeah, it's like any character from any period of time can be someone's favorite. Like, Blaze is a favorite to a lot of people. Obviously, like, Shadow's a big one. So, my next question is, Stuart. And this one, keep in mind you can answer for, like, any of the side projects, like movies or comics or anything like that. What's your favorite character in the last decade? Like, so the reason it's last decade is just, like, a character who's more recent. Because this is a series that has a shitload of characters in it, and the characters have been a little bit weaker over the last decade, at least in the games. But there's been some good. That's another thing they've been doing better with Trip and Sage. They're kind of like writing fun characters again. So, yeah, just favorite character in the last 10 years.
That's a good question. Let me see when the last game was a decade ago. So it's 2023.
Lost World would be the cutoff.
Lost World. It's a good question, honestly. I guess I would probably say Dr. Eggman.
Oh, I mean, like, new character.
New character.
You can, yeah, I mean, that's interesting, though. Like, yeah, you think he's been, like, the best character in the series from, like, over the last 10 years, he's been the most interesting one.
Yeah, how about this? Boom Eggman.
Okay, yeah.
Specifically the TV show, because he's very funny.
Fair enough. I think they made him different enough.
There's a segment
to where you could count him different.
There's a part in one of the episodes where he thought he was talking to the real Sonic, but it was a Sonic doll, and he decides to go to war with it. So, he's out in the trenches trying to, like, do one of those bear crawls, and he's like, caw, caw, try to get to Orbot, and then for Cubot, he's like, bleh, bleh! And then, he fails miserably. But then he has his entire, like, artillery, and he's like, time for the final showdown, and everything gets shot at this doll Sonic, and they all miss. But then they eventually kill him, and he's like, this is the greatest moment of my life. And he pulls out a speech about this moment.
That sounds like Boom.
And final question. What's your favorite piece of obscure Sonic media or information? So, like, we mentioned, like, Ken Penders, like, some of the weird shit he's done as an example, or just something, like, wild that's happened in, like, the past. Just, like, a fun little piece of trivia or a weird thing that the series has done. Chris mentioned, like, the old arcade games, like the popcorn machine and all that.
Did you mention the Sonic, like, cop game?
Yeah.
I hold on. I did not. You did. You did it for me. You picked up the slack on me on that one.
Okay.
Because, like, I forgot about that one, and Michael's like, oh, you mean, like, the cop one? And I was like, shit, yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Titan Tales.
I'd say, like, the most obscure, like, pretty cool thing is that in Shin Megami Tensei LDX2, which you can buy on the App Store, Sonic is actually a fusion.
Oh, shit, okay.
Sonic wasn't the only guest character. Another fun fact, you could get Dante, Bayonetta, Guts. I believe you could get Nero as well.
Yeah, that's the only crossover we're gonna get with Bayonetta and Devil May Cry.
Mm-hmm.
So,
a couple of other ones that I like. What was that one game called? Where it's like Zodic the Hedgehog, where they have like this, I forget the name of the game, but there's just this like really creepy enemy that resembles Sonic in the game, and if you attack him, he does lose rings. I'll put it in the chat. You guys will recognize it. His name is Zodic. I don't remember what the name of the game is.
Zodic the Hellhog during...
Oh, Hellhog.
Toy Hunter, I think the game's called?
Yeah.
Toy
That's
Hunter
disgusting.
Cork Goes to Hell.
Okay.
And then have you never seen this before, Chris?
I've seen it. I've just never seen the game. I've seen this picture so many times.
Gotcha. Yeah, like when I was a kid, the first time I saw it, I thought it was just like a weird piece of fan art, so learning it was an actual game was interesting. I like other like little references that I've seen outside of the series, like fucking Steven Universe. Some of the, like one of the gems uses a spin dash as an attack. Like that's a little nod to that. Some of the Simpsons references to the series are always fun, like Sonic encouraging Bart to shoplift in an episode, and then if you pair them up in Lego Dimensions, he says the same thing.
Sonic was also brutally injured in a Ty the Tasmanian commercial.
Yeah, and in an advertisement as well.
I feel like we could do a whole episode on this obscure shit. Like,
oh man, it's almost as if that's planned for the future.
So I guess I'll drop it there, but yeah, just good answer though, Stuart. That's one I did not know about, so that's a good one. Anyways, I'm done. I'll shut the fuck up now for a bit. Chris, hop on to today's topic.
Okay, so today's topic is a very simple one, only because like it's one that I pushed forward because I'm working on a video, so I kind of want to know your guys' opinion. How do you guys feel about the collections of Sonic, and what was your first collection of Sonic? What I mean by that is like Mega Collection, Gems, the Smash Pack, you know, stuff like that.
I'll go first then.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first collection I remember was the Mega Collection for GameCube. I remember my cousins having it. I'd go to my mom's house, and at the time that's when my cousins were living there, like right next door to me. So it was a very fun time. Not one of the first instances of me like being introduced to Sonic. That was probably further ahead when other cousins were playing, and I believe I thought Knuckles was a girl at one time, but you know, that was just the first time I saw it. They were fine. I remember going to the options menu for the comic covers, and everybody has like good memories of those. I didn't like it because I was like, "What the heck? I want to read these. This is dumb. I don't like. I don't like these options.
It's
Why
funny.
are they there?"
You can only read the first one. You can only read the first issue.
I didn't even know that either.
Volume.
It's,
First volume you can read, not even the first issue.
It's funny because that memory that you had of that area, I think Michael made a musical video about it, or a video that talks about the music of that area. Am I correct? Is that what that was?
Yes, Michael mentioned he cried at it.
I mentioned that it unsettled me. I didn't cry.
Unsettled him. He cried. Literally,
Shit my pants.
he shit his pants. But I remember it eventually led into later down the road where I was trading games with a friend, and I got Sonic Gems collection, and the Tails doll was in it. That was very spooky.
Uh-oh.
So I remember trying to summon the Tails doll, and it didn't work.
Shit, can't believe it didn't work.
Shit, why didn't it work?
Want to try again?
Yeah, we could do another video, just the Tails doll podcast.
Yeah.
Take a video of you and send it for this episode. We'll end it on it of you in the bathroom trying to summon Tails doll.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll edit it into the end of the episode.
I'm not. See, the problem is I'm not editing these, so Michael will totally do it.
So this will be out like 7 years from now.
Yeah. To be fair here, I mean, these videos can come out whenever the hell, but this is meant to be like at least a minimum once a month thing, so.
Yeah, I think once a month is reasonable. I've already gotten a decent chunk of the first one edited. The test pilot. I guess to answer, I got like a Mega Collection and Gems Collection on the same day. I remember going to the store to pick them up. I was initially looking for something else. I think I went looking for Rush, but they didn't have Rush. But then I saw those two collection packs, and like they were like both of them together were about the same as Rush. I was like, ooh, I'll get this. And then I just got Rush a different day. But I picked them up, and I was just looking at the back, and I remember like the two games that I definitely got the most out of that, because I love the classics, but I had access to them before. I played them on the Genesis when I was really young, although I think it was my cousins that didn't actually have it. But I was more so into R and Fighters and 3D Blast because they were three games I didn't have access to. Now, as I've gotten older, 3D Blast is a game that's kind of gone down for me. I don't like it as much, but I was kind of into it when I was younger. And then, but R and Fighters, I still really like those two. I remember being a little disappointed by Fighters because I saw, like, the art on the back, and I looked through the manual of the game, like, on the way home from the, like, I think we got it at a Best Buy or something. And I remember, like, looking at it and, like, thinking, like, oh, this is, like, a 3D, platforming game. Like, this must be, like, because I didn't, know much about the history of the series at all. I'm like, oh, it has, like, this is where Espio comes from. This is, like, this is gonna be sick. I was, like, I was thinking I was getting, like, a story-driven platforming game.
Oh, okay.
I was, like, essentially looking at Sonic 64, and then I got there and it was, like, a fighting game. I was like, oh. But then I had a lot of fucking fun with the fighting game. Yeah, it was a lot of fun revisiting that one when you guys visited for Too Many Games. That one was a good time.
Yeah.
Fucking Store of Bark. Oh my god.
Yep.
But I really loved those two packs a lot, and yeah, the Mega Collection options menu did get to me a bit, but I still really liked it. I still spent hours upon hours going through it. Gems Collection had a pretty good one too. Not as good as Mega Collection, but it was still, like, bonus features were cool. And yeah, I like Gems a little bit more than Mega Collection just because it's, like, one of the only collection packs they ever did that put in some of the weirder entries, like put in Sega Saturn games. But Mega Collection's probably, like, the one to go for just to get, like, the, most traditional Sonic experience you can get. Like, it doesn't have any of the changes that the newest collection pack does. What the fuck is it called? Why can't I dream? What the fuck is it called?
Plus?
Origins, yeah. It doesn't have any of the changes that Origins, which I like Origins, but, like, it's...
Oh, we're gonna get into that.
There's definitely purists out there that are gonna prefer the Mega Collection. Mega Collection just kind of feels like the ultimate pack, where I like Gems a little bit more just because those games have been re-released so many times, and Gems is, like, one of a kind.
Okay, so the one that I started with was gonna honestly be, and I hate to be that way because we all have the same one, I think, and it is Mega Collections. That was the one that I started with. It's not what started me on Sonic. Once again, I had a family friend that had a Sega Genesis, and it had three games, Sonic Spinball, Sonic, the Hedgehog, just classic, and Saint Sword, weird game. But yeah, I never was really interested in Sonic 1 because of that, but I always liked having it, and then I liked having the comics, and that's actually what got me more into the Sonic comics and also got me into liking comics today. So
nice.
I will say that some of the comic covers were a lot more intense than I was ready for at that age. Archie was more intense than I think I was ready for at that age. But, I mean, at least it's not Fleetway. At least we grew up in America, because I think I would have hated... I think how sensitive I am, I would have probably not been able to handle Fleetway. The first time... that's a whole nother episode that is planned down the line. With that being said, do you have anything else you want to add about the first one, or can I move on to the next question?
I'm good.
I think the last collection I got was Sonic Classic Collection on Nintendo DS. I remember I went to GameStop, and the usual people, hey, how you doing? There's something you want to get? Looking for? And I just ignored them and went straight to the DS aisle and got it. Just picked out the game, bought it, just walked off.
So
ignored them, the evil GameStop employees.
So with that being said, what is your favorite collection? Like, favorite Sonic collection game? Like, the one that collects the games the best, in your opinion?
I kind of already answered, but I guess I'll just, I'll repeat it here. Mega Collection, I feel like, does the best job of just putting the games together in one place. But in terms of, what's accessible today, Origins. And then my favorite one, I'm just gonna say Gems, because there's so many ways to play those original 3 games in CD, where it's I think that Gems is kind of like a hidden gem in itself, where it's just there's no other collection pack that put in There's no other fucking collection pack that put fucking R in there.
Now hold on,
I think
Michael. Hold on.
Oh,
You keep saying Sonic Gems this, Sonic Gems that. What about Vector Man from the original Sonic Mega Collection?
I played Vector Man for maybe 10 minutes whole the entire time I owned the game.
we are gonna fix that.
All right. All right. I know this is about Sonic, but Vector Man is in the Sonic Mega Collection, so
Yeah.
I know.
give
wasn't into it.
some respect.
Yeah,
Not just one, but two.
Vector Man's the original Wally. You can fight me on that one, but it's true.
All right.
All right.
Stuart, your favorite collection?
Sonic Mega Collection for Vector Man 1 and 2. I thought I answered it.
All right, what about you? What about you, Chris? What's your favorite?
So, I think we're gonna learn really quickly that I'm a goddamn hipster, and it's Sonic Jam.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
I love Sonic Jam. It is not even close to the best, but like the Sonic world and also being able to just click on and off the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge was the shit. I loved having the little 3D Sonic. I loved being able to play on the world. It was one of the few first YouTube videos I saw, and I was obsessed, and I thought it was an actual game. It's not. I mean, it is, but Sonic Jam was the shit. Sonic Jam was the shit. It's the first time I was really... Because I just played Mega Collection. I didn't look hardcore at all the art and shit like that. I didn't care. I was too busy playing the games. I was older when I played Jam, so I absolutely loved all the art. And it's old art. It's art that we've all seen, but Jam was the shit. And I really wish that the collections would take after Jam. It was just a better experience. It felt closer to Sega. It felt closer to the Sega Genesis than any other collection, and I enjoyed that. It wasn't many games, mind you. It was just Sonic to Sonic and Knuckles, but it was still great, and I love it.
Nice.
Too bad it's expensive as fuck. With that being said, what is the game that you guys think is missing from the collections, and what would you do to make a new Sonic collection better? I feel like this is probably going to be the longest conversation we have, and this is also kind of what I'm relying on the conversation being, so... I guess to throw that in, what are the shortcomings of the collections too?
I feel like Origins kind of, especially since they made a expansion like they did Origins Plus, I don't know, they have Chaotix's music and art in the game. Why not just throw Chaotix in there? And like that'd be I missed the weirder entries, that's what I'll say. And Origins Plus took a step in the right direction with the Game Gear releases, but like it's nice that they have Triple Trouble in there now, but it's also just like the Game Gear games are nobody's fucking favorite. Maybe you could like, I don't know, there's other stuff that they could be putting in. And I do think maybe some of the arcade, like not the arcade games that were essentially rides. I understand why you're not going to put the cop one in there, because that was essentially just like a ride in an arcade. But it's also just like yeah, Chaotix, or there was that one with like Sonic Mighty and Ray that they could have like tried to throw in.
So I'm gonna be a contrarian here. I disagree. I think that they should have added the rides, because how else the fuck are we gonna play those, right? I get that, I see where you're coming from, but I think it'd be cool to see those. There was even like a 3D whatever point ride for Sonic as well. And I think that sometimes we need to preserve even like the weirder shit, including, I know it's not gonna be the same, you know, but like it'd be cool to see the video, at least.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that like if even if they're going to, I don't think they have much of an excuse to not put in some of like the other entries. Like, you know, like I know some people say, oh, R isn't a very good game, so, which again I don't agree with that, but I get that's the general consensus. So when people like say, oh, well, why would they put that? Well, why would they put the fucking game? Why would they put Drift in there then? If you're gonna make that argument, Drift sucks.
Yeah.
Drift actually sucks. I mean, that game was really boring.
It also controlled like shit.
I'm sure. I'm not looking forward to getting to that one when we get to it, but we will probably knock Drift 1 and 2 out like in one go.
Same day.
Yeah.
So it seems like y'all are just talking about the classic ones. And I'm more so disappointed that this is due to licensing reasons why stuff like Sonic Heroes just isn't re-released. I believe that's because of a certain engine that they used that they need the rights for. It's either something that EA owns or it's from a company that no longer exists. So they just outright refuse to re-release that now. I think the same thing for Sonic Unleashed. Don't quote me on that, or do. But I remember there are reasons why stuff like that just cannot get re-released. Or even just have a modern collection for Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I know there were rumors. If you could stop interrupting me, you fuck. Let's cut this part out. I'm sorry.
No, I'm leaving it in and repeating it 8 times.
I know there were rumors, maybe it was confirmed, or just little speculations that there was plans on a Sonic Adventure remake, or at least an HD collection before Sega got cold feet and pulled out of it, which is just so weird. They make weird decisions.
The reason I was trying to butt in for a second is because with Unleashed, they did release it digitally for Xbox One. You can get a digital copy at the very least.
Is that a re-release, or is it just, hey, if you have Sonic Adventure, or is it with Xbox's backwards compatibility thing?
I purchased the game on the Microsoft Store, and it worked on Xbox One. I think it's still considered an Xbox 360 game, so backwards compatibility, but I was able to buy the game digitally in, recently. It was only, a year or two ago.
Okay.
So, 06, you cannot do that. And it's not, even if you own the game, that one doesn't work with backwards,
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, so it's just fucking stupid. Yeah, I think that, honest to God, a Crash or Spyro remake thing, where if they, did it with Adventure 1, 2, and Heroes, I think that'd be really neat.
I think, sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I'm gonna interrupt the fuck out of you anyways. I think the thing that's funny about Unleashed is that, to my knowledge, and this could be incorrect, it was used in the Hedgehog engine, which might be the problem in general, because recreating a goddamn engine is a pain in the ass. So the problem of re-releasing it is probably the fact that they might not just want to recreate it. That's sometimes just an issue, is that you have to recreate something because it was made for an engine that no longer works today. So
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, and that's true. It's just
what Stuart said is practically right. I'm just saying it's still the same shit.
With a franchise this popular, it would at least be nice if they could, I don't know, work something out, because it's I get, yeah, they'd probably have to redo a bunch of shit, but it's just so the compromise is that we're never gonna get this major entry in this very popular series again.
Well, see, the thing about it is that I think it's dumb, if I'm gonna be honest, for them to not just remake it. I know that that's easy for us to say, we're not putting money into it, but fuck it, right? Game companies do remakes all the time, and I feel like Sega could definitely probably profit off of it. I think a remake for some of these games that do not have stable engines or are borrowing something like Unreal could definitely, especially since Unreal could just be updated. So I feel like a remake, and I guess this is where the topic can kind of go, I feel like remakes of some of these older games would be perfectly fine, because I think you just kind of need to at a point,
Yeah, I don't think that these need to disappear forever. Adventure 1 and 2, it's available pretty much everywhere. If you have an Xbox, you can get it. If you have a PlayStation, you can get it. If you have a computer, you can get it. It's very easy to run on anything. I think pretty much the only out of all the modern consoles, not counting Series X or PlayStation 5, I think Switch is the only one that doesn't have them.
Yeah.
It's very easy. They're very accessible. And Heroes, it's Shit, I don't want to do emulation to cover that one on Spiny, but they're not really giving me a lot of choices.
I mean, you could probably
I might be able to
go over to Stuart or Eyes.
Yeah, we could probably work something out with that.
I have it on GameCube.
Same.
And honestly, that is one that I would want to. That would be a good in-person one with how. It's hard to. I almost feel like I should do each mode in person with the person, because that's a whole fucking different topic. Screw it, we're not talking about that right now. Anyways.
But yeah, I mean, because the reason why I brought up collections is mainly because we've been sticking with classic for a while. I've ran out of questions, so I'm just gonna kind of freeball it here. I feel like the thing is we've had a lot of classic collections, but we haven't had we even haven't had like advanced. You know, there's like a lot of Sonic games that have just gone to the wayside, like some of the Wonder Swan color games.
For sure.
If any of you know what the fuck that is.
Sonic Wonder Swan? Swamp?
Yeah.
Is it N or an M?
Wonder Swan.
Are you referring to the Sonic Pocket Adventure?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's considered like one of, if not the best Sonic game according to IGN.
But I feel like it's kind of sad that we haven't had more in the collections, and I know that when it comes to Origins, it would be odd to have something like Advanced, or hell, I think another thing that sucks is that we don't even have the DS games like Rush or Rush Adventure or Colors, or there's so many games that are just gonna get lost over time.
Some of them are hard to get your hands on too, like Rush 1 and Rush Adventure I was able to get off of Amazon. Colors for 3DS, I ordered that, and it took so long to arrive I forgot I ordered it, and then I looked at my phone one day, I'm like, oh yeah, like I ordered this like 3 months ago and it still says it's on its way. Like, okay, I'm just fucking canceling this again, a refund. So that was bullshit. Yeah, I feel like they could just do a good like handheld collection pack.
They could.
That would even be a good thing to release. Like with the way Switch like has kind of changed the game a bit, that'd be a good Switch release, or I guess Switch 2, since we're probably heading towards that.
Fastly approaching that, yeah.
Yeah, so like, I mean, like, you would have to rework Rush a little bit, but it would be very doable. Because the only difference is the screen layout would have to be different, but it's like...
I don't think that's the hardest thing to do.
No, I don't, and like, you could also, like, just... You know, you don't have to have the touch screen anymore for it, you can just cut that out, because both Rush games... The touchscreen did things, but it
barely.
That game could absolutely function without that feature. Easily.
I feel like this is a side note that is not important whatsoever, but this is just a side note. If it's actually called the Switch 2, I'm gonna have a fucking fit.
I doubt it's gonna. I mean, I remember people calling like the Wii U the Wii 2 and all of that.
I'm looking through just out of curiosity to see if like Sega did any re-releases for the handhelds, more specifically like on the Wii U Virtual Console, and not a single Sega game, not for Game Boy Advance nor DS. But then again, this is on the Wikipedia.
Yeah, I feel like the thing is that like when it gets right down to it, I feel like a lot of Sonic games are going, and I mean this is just gaming in general, but I feel like Sonic's one of those ones that's almost unacceptable, because it's like the company can do it. And I feel like if you re-release Rush, because I mean there's companies out there doing far less, you know, releasing far less, like, you know, like the Castlevania and the Contra collection, or even Disney's bullshit they do, you know. So I feel like Sega could totally do it and be fine, you know.
Right. I think the handheld one's a great idea. I think doing like this is like completely like, okay, so we're like taking we're taking logic out of it. We're taking like stuff behind the scenes that would cause problems out of it. I think that like a trio release of Adventure 1, 2, and Heroes would be great.
You mean
the remaster? Yeah, the remaster treatment that Crash and Spyro got would be amazing. Honestly, I would love to see a fucking remastered Adventure 2, but I would want them to not change the fucking mechanics. I'd want them to keep like the controls the same, and I don't know if you could count on them to. I don't know if they'd be able to help themselves, but we'll see. I guess we would see. I would just love to see that for Adventure 1 and 2, and then Heroes would just be kind of a nice way to kind of like wrap it up and make it a trilogy.
You keep saying Shadow wrong.
Shadow. That actually brings me to a question for you two. So we talk about like what would be like the Nightmare collection pack. Like you're just making the worst possible collection. Like I'm talking putting like Schoolhouse and Chronicles on the same game. You know, like what you're making the worst possible collection pack you can make. What are you creating?
Let's go, Stuart.
It's already out. It's called the Sonic Forces Plus Super Monkey Ball Nintendo Switch.
Hey.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Yes.
That's disgusting.
It's the Super Monkey Ball game that Sega said, if you want another Super Monkey Ball game, you need to buy this one that, wasn't really well received.
Man, I love when companies do that. It's great, I love that.
Yep.
Shoutouts to Capcom.
Shoutouts to Nintendo with Chibi Robo.
Yeah, that was worth. They're both shit. They're both shit.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I was gonna try to say I don't know, but no, they're both absolute garbage for that. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a realistic answer and one that'll never fucking happen, right? My realistic answer is if they just release the Game Gear games and sell it separate, right? Like I feel like they'd do something stupid like that.
Maybe.
Like, they would be like, hey, here's the fixed audio, blah, blah, blah. Because, I mean, that's all Origins Plus is them being like, hey, but I feel like they'd have more of, like, the Game Gear games that, like, or, like, maybe add Wonder Swan. But I feel like that's closer. And it wouldn't even be advanced either. It would just be, here's the Game Gear games again, and then the Wonder Swan games, and that's it. And then the unrealistic one is if they just re-release Shadow the Hedgehog and then tied it together with Chronicles, but like they don't optimize anything either. It's just shit release, like release as is, like you have like I don't even know how they'll pull it off, but it still like doesn't work. Do you think that they could, since we're talking about like re-releases, do you think they honestly could or will release Shadow the Hedgehog, or do you think that that's their limit?
That's their limit.
I don't think they do it.
They like making a bunch of jokes, and they have their Sonic Bible, and I just don't see them ever wanting to do that.
There's games from that era where they're willing to make jokes about or do like something for their concerts. Like Shadow has a song in the symphony. They do perform the song from like the opening of the game, and 06 has its own medley, which makes sense. 06's music is genuinely really good. But
06's music is good, and then sometimes it's shit.
Yeah, yeah, okay. It took me a second to think about. Yeah, I mean, some of the...
No, its levels are beautiful. It's just like...
Some of the lyric songs with like actual lyrics to them.
Oh, I'm talking about like the town levels.
I remember being okay with those.
Yeah, they're okay. They're not like the best part of the game.
No, for sure. It's like the cinematic stuff that I really like about 06.
Speaking of 06, do you think that they'll re-release that one?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
I'd like to, like... I was gonna say I'd like to see them, like, make a genuine attempt to make the game actually, like, enjoyable to play, but you have Project 06 that are, like, working on that, and also, like, I don't want them to make that a priority ever.
I think we'll come back to 06 because that's such a big episode. But
right.
Because I had a question for 06, but I'd rather stick to the whole collection thing. With that being said, though, I'm really surprised that the one thing that I've seen that we forgot or didn't talk about, or you talked about it briefly, is the music issue in Origins.
Right.
I kind of wish they'd just fix that.
It feels like we've hit a point where...
oh, they're not going to.
Yeah, it feels like we've hit a point where they should have been able to, like, figure it out by now.
And then they never did.
Yeah, because I understand that, like, I know what people normally, like, will start talking about, during all that, like, oh, it's like Michael Jackson's involvement, or it's like it's hard for them to get rights to it, and it's just kind of like,
is it though?
It's kind of like, okay, I mean, sure, but 30 years is a long time to figure that out.
I feel like the rights issue is kind of bullshit, because, like, you can... Now that he's not alive anymore, you can just speak to his estate, right? Like, it's a lot more cut and dry now than it used to be.
Right.
And I'm not saying, like... And I'm not saying that's 100% true. Some estates are dog shit. But, you know... I don't think... I think it's just them not trying. If we can reel it back a little bit, if they did release a Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 remake, remaster, whatever, I'm gonna say remake. How do you think that would go over? Because the Sonic Adventure game, specifically 2, has been in a weird flux in the reviewer space. Do you think, like, how do you think it would go over?
Oh, I mean, I think the crowd that it's intended for would probably really like it, and then, yeah, there would be some people saying, why did you remake this? But I think that as long as the remake was, like, you know, assuming the remake was done well and it's, like, it feels the same and it's representing what it's supposed to represent well, I think that a lot of people would be happy with it. Stuart?
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
That's my honest opinion. It's just, yeah.
I think the thing about it is that I have a lot more argumentative faith in remakes right now. Watch as one remake ruins it, and then I'm a bitch for the rest of my life. But I'm hoping I'm hoping the Metal Gear one's good. I know that has nothing to do with this again, but
that one already came out, and some people were just saying it's not like the best faithful port.
Oh, it's already out. The Metal Gear.
Oh, okay. I'm a dumbass now. I'm thinking of the collection.
No. The collection. I see where you're coming from, because that's a port, you know.
Yeah.
And to be fair here, yeah, like, see, stuff like that's to be afraid of, which sucks. That really sucks. But that it didn't. That's not good.
I feel like if you want a more honester review, I'd go to Jay's reviews for the SMT for the Metal Gear collection.
Okay.
Instead of, like, just looking at people in the comments or, you know, just regular article topics saying this is the worst thing ever, where it's like, nah, it's just what version of this was ported.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out then. But with that being said, I'd absolutely love to see a Sonic Adventure remake. I'm one of those people that's wanted it for a while, and I'm once again having, like, a good faith with this, because I think that they could definitely fix a few things for these games, and I think it would work out well.
Yeah, I would love it. Like, I mean, I would obviously really love that, even if they just got ported together. I would have no reason to get them if they were just ported together, other than to get Heroes in a more accessible way, but I would still go for it.
Would a remake of Heroes be accessible? Like, would you be fine with that?
I'd be fine with it. I don't know if that one would be as big of a hit, though. Just because I don't think Heroes is as popular as a game as the other two. I feel like having it with those two would help it, you know, like, because people will buy a remake or like report of the first two adventure games. If it's just Heroes, it's not that no one would go for it. I don't know if it'd be a big hit.
What they would really need to do is, like, decrease the how slippery or sensitive the characters are, especially when you're the power characters, like Knuckles, or especially Omega. I was about to say Gamma.
Yeah. Because, I said that, like, with Adventure 1 and 2, I wouldn't want them to mess with I wouldn't want them to mess with it at all. Even the broken physics of Adventure 1 are really fun. But, like, yeah, Heroes, you're right. Heroes is, like, kind of a rough game to play. There's fun to be had, but the slipperiness of it, and also just, like, how confused the character... Like, tell me if you remember this one, Stuart. Just, like, the rail grind and switching rail to rail, sometimes just fucking fly off the rail.
Yeah, it shot you off like a fucking cannon.
Yeah, I remember having, like, absolute just trouble getting used to that. When the new games, you can just move the analog stick and then bada bing.
I think it's funny because that's the first. Have you ever, like, that was my gamer rage, was Sonic Heroes grinding. Like, that was upset throwing controller
Yeah.
pissing off kind of moments.
I think mine was in the jungle with the alligator at the end,
Oh,
when you were jumping from vine to vine.
yeah, that makes sense.
I rented Heroes, and I remember it was like the boss battle midway. It's like after like that sunset level on the rails, which I remember raging a decent bit at that. I remember I rented the game from like a Blockbuster, and before I owned it, and like that boss fight where you're just trying to take down like the ship, and again it's like this, it's like the middle boss battle of the game, like halfway through the story mode. I got so angry and I kept like yelling at the game so much that I got like I wasn't allowed to play it for the rest of the time I owned it. My mom was just like, "All right, that's enough," and I don't blame her for that. That's not a healthy way to act, and now I've fully embraced that behavior on Spiny. But
You know, I think we're gonna wrap this up. But one last thing I do want to add is one of the games that I feel like we forgot to talk about, and I think just needs a port. Period. Especially now that Nintendo's doing that NSO thing for Game Boy Advance, is I think Sonic Battle, or whatever the hell that one was called, would be really cool to get a port or even a re-release or some shit like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
which game?
Like the fighting game for Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah, I agree actually, because that game's really interesting. There's so many different fucking campaigns for it. Yeah, I know, I'd be down for that. I would love it if they did that. Because that's another one where it's like either emulation or I need to find a copy at Too Many Games. After I found the 3 advanced games at Too Many Games and I got them, and I'll be able to record them with like once I get what's that thing that you guys
Retron
have
5.
again? Yeah. Once I get my hands on that, I'll be able to record it. I kind of need to finish that to finish Advance, but I couldn't find Battle anywhere. I couldn't find a copy of Battle anywhere, and that made me like think, well, if I ever do finally find it, it's probably going to cost a shitload if it's not easy to find. Like Advance, like almost every fucking booth with Advance games had it.
Yeah.
Where Battle was a harder one to come across, which sucks because I got it from my friend Gage and I never sold it or anything, so it's like it's either somewhere in this house in a corner that I'm never gonna find, or it got thrown away accidentally.
Okay.
Because I had it, and now I have not seen it in years. Like, it's probably been a decade since the last time I
Does
played
Gage
that
have
game. No. We did a trade. I trade him Drawn to Together. Wait, no, Drawn Together is a fucking Drawn to Life.
You had the rights to Drawn Together.
and I sold them for not like ownership of the game, just a copy of the game.
Yeah.
I always got those two fucking mixed up when I was a kid.
Oh,
because
God.
they're so similar in titles. Yeah, they couldn't be more different.
I hope you
Titles
didn't.
are
I
so
hope you didn't have an internet accident with that one.
Probably not.
Looking up Drawn to Life. Yeah, get Drawn Together. With that being said, though, I think I'd like to actually see, I guess to finally kind of close this episode out. Yeah, I think if they have to release one collection, it should just be the handhelds. Without the Game Gears.
I agree. A handheld would be great, and if they did like the 3 advanced games, the 2 rush games, and Battle, which I think might be like expecting way too much from them, but if they did that, that'd be fucking sweet. I would absolutely buy that.
Sega makes weird decisions. It'd be nice one day if they could release or re-release Sonic games that wasn't just the Genesis ones or the Game Gear ones. And
Just release Sonic Extreme already.
or the Sonic one where he was on a skateboard.
Yeah, release that too. See,
Sonic
fuck it. You know what? Just
Skateboard.
release Sonic Riders and then, but like only release free Riders and that's it. Don't release any of the other ones. People would love that. It'd be the greatest decision you've ever done, Sega.
There's a mod where it's motionless Sonic Free Riders.
There is.
Yeah, gonna plug them again. Jay's Reviews did a
Nice.
video on it, and I think ultimately it's just not a good game.
Doesn't look like it. It kind of looks like one they like. It always, like, from what I always saw of the game, it definitely struck me as one that, like, where they half-assed it. I kind of like the opening theme song, though. I think that's cool, but the rest of it, the game looked pretty bad. They end up doing, they like listen to this episode and they just decide to do a port of all the LED McDonald's games. It costs $60.
Sonic
Cost
Skateboard.
$100. End the episode with that,
Amy
Michael.
Tennis. Shadow Basketball.
So with that being said, me and Michael introduced our channels and what we do. Stuart, do you mind? You already explained it at the beginning, but you wanna give it one more go, because we're not gonna do it again in these episodes since you're here forever and we own you now. So.
All right, so I'll do it again. Hi, I'm Stuart. I have a YouTube channel called Stuart, and I make videos on stuff that interest me, such as Donkey Kong and Fire Emblem, and I'm in the very early stages of my next video, and I'm going to keep this one a secret until it's actually released.
Nice.
Okay.
I also have an Instagram called Stuart's Gaming Art, where I, from time to time release just bead art and wood art and just stuff that I just like making. Also got an Etsy if anyone is ever interested in purchasing from me and help supporting. You don't have to, but makes it all
No, he's
better.
lying. You have to. You have to.
I've purchased from Stuart twice now, and it's been good. I'd recommend it. It's I remember when we were in when I was just visiting Stuart, you even like pulled up like you got a really good review on your Ganondorf recently, so that was nice.
Yeah, someone bought it from me. It made me really happy.
I mean, your beat art's awesome though.
Thank you. Gonna show it right now.
So with that being said, buy it. That's
There
the
it is.
prerequisite to watching the show. You gotta buy it.
Yeah. If you don't buy Stuart's beat art, you're banned from the audience.
If you don't buy Stuart's beat art, I'm deleting the Spiny Norman channel.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really tough bargain, Chris, but you know what? Sometimes it's gotta happen.
Are you ever gonna do Sonic for Hire the next season? Is that ever gonna be a thing you do, or are you just gonna like act like it didn't happen?
I'm gonna do it, but they have to finish it first.
Oh, it's not done yet?
Yeah, they're going at their own pace with it, which, I mean, the episodes have been longer, so I'll give them a pass on that. I think that's probably better. I think that's probably, like, a healthier way to work on it, because 7 and 8 were not good, but they were also, like, made on such a strict time limit.
Wasn't one of them called Hedgehog for Hire?
Yeah, that was the Rooster Teeth season, because they made them change. They didn't want Sonic's name to be in the title, but they were okay with Sonic being in the show's logo. So it's just fucking nonsense. They don't know what they're fucking doing.
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody.
All right, Tails doll, do your worst. Nothing? Oh, wrong channel. You're not Tails.